Welcome, Ronin Talk.
We're back.
During Black History Month, we got 3 black main events to talk about.
I didn't even put that together.
I always put it together for the people. Sean Crixus, your host as always.
Andrew the Beast Tyson.
We got a couple main events to dive into.
3.
Stylebender.
Your boy Stylebender.
Stylebender now. That was, what'd you think of his performance?
So I'll be honest with you. I don't know if it's because Stylebender's that good or if Anderson isn't Anderson. I don't know what to think, right? I don't know if the matchup looked the way it did because Anderson is, come back so strong, or maybe we've hyped Israel up so much that like he maybe should have finished Anderson. So I don't know what to think, because for me, I thought this was a fight where he was going to knock him out and this is going to be something to elevate him. And I thought our argument would be more about, did he finish him because he's that next level or because Anderson's. So
I don't know. Remember, only one person has finished Anderson.
Well, yeah, because like
you know what I'm saying?
The kick doesn't count. You're right.
Weidman, Anderson's lost, but only one person's actually hurt.
No, you're right,
and then you got to look at one thing I noticed in the fight too. A lot of the stuff they were countering with, a lot of stuff that they were dodging, they were using each other's moves.
Well, no, and that's what styles make matchups, right? So that had the potential to be, to me, a much more exciting fight. I think it started more exciting.
I still think it was exciting.
It was exciting, but near the end, it almost felt like, okay, nobody's getting knocked out. And like I said, I don't know. I just don't know what to take from this fight. Fair. Now, we do now know that he's fighting Kelvin Gastelum. Now, once again, Kelvin's solid, but I also don't think Kelvin got his style shot because I think he was just the last guy left for Whittaker.
I think the pool's shallow.
So I feel bad for Israel in a way because I don't know what to think. Until he beats Whittaker, and then even then, if he comes back and beats Whittaker off of this injury, I don't know. Israel needs more, and it's kind of unfair to him. But I don't know what to think. I think the Kelvin Gastelum's a fair enough matchup where if he knocks him out, he's deserving to be as considered a champ. But it's just a weird situation. I'd like to see him fight a Yoel. I would definitely like to see him fight Robert Whittaker, right? So I feel bad because I don't feel like this is what the UFC's plan was. I think the UFC thought that he was going to knock out Anderson, and it would be big attention, a highlight reel that they'd use. Mm-hmm. Near the end, it kind of made you be like a lot of people came out and started criticizing him. Weidman came out and criticized him. Paulo Costa, a lot of people weren't impressed.
Well, because here's the thing, all that is premeditated. All of those guys that are saying something were only started saying something because they knew on fight week this was a #1 contender fight.
Well, hey, listen.
It's of course they're gonna come out and
now. If he would have knocked him out, though, I don't think they would have had that much to say. I think
so. They would have 100%.
It's not the same. At least you knocked him out, though. You go that many rounds with the guy, and you didn't really damage him like that. People are looking like, wait, this is an older guy. He's had PD issues. We know he didn't look all ripped. He looked older after those 3 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time off. A lot of people are saying and like I said, who do you think Israel's best win is? Outside of Anderson.
I'm trying to think of
this
last couple.
And so that's a fair, the Brunson thing. Listen, he defended the takedowns from Brunson. Well, Brunson's been looking a little chinny lately, right? If we're being honest.
Brunson's looked weird lately. He fought Brad Tavares.
No, listen, the Brad Tavares stuff.
But the Brad Tavares fight, he showed versatility. We're seeing him in RA rolls. We're seeing him strike. We're seeing him defend takedowns.
It's dude, this is the problem I had with this division when Anderson was there. I just feel like it's always a weird division. 85. I don't think Anderson would have been champ that long if he became champ 5 years ago in that pool of Yoel and Whittaker.
I can see that.
You know what I mean?
See that.
I think he was beating a lot. Now he did beat Henderson, but Henderson was older.
He beat a Forrest Griffin when Forrest was still legit.
That's fair.
That was at 205.
Yeah. So
you know what I mean? So, he beat James Irvin when James Irvin was a Sandman.
So now that's the thing. Do you feel like you're as impressed with? They're saying, oh, this is Anderson 2.0. I'm not as impressed with Israel as I was when Anderson hit the scene. I don't feel the same dominance. It does not feel as scary.
I don't think that's fair to say though, because
it is fair.
What are you talking about? The climates are still different. As shallow as the division is now, I still think the division of now takes a division of when Anderson.
But that's the thing, but that's the point. Anderson was at least making it look more dominant, and he hasn't gotten to fight those top tier guys yet. His biggest win to date is Anderson, and it wasn't dominant. When Anderson was at that point, he was dominating those guys that even gave him the tough fights. And all his tough fights, he finished the guys. He still finished Chill. He still finished Travis Lutter. He still finished Henderson, right? He finished Rich Franklin, the champ, a guy who was scary.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. So we have to see where this goes. I'm interested in the Kelvin Gastelum fight.
Yeah.
Once again, I wasn't rating that fight as much because I think he's a 170 pounder who just can't make weight. I don't know where he had the nerve to run his mouth to Tyron Woodley who beat him. So I feel like he was just the next guy for Whittaker, right?
Yeah.
Which I've said this before. I feel bad for Whittaker because I felt like, you know, like this whole division. It's a weird division, man.
I still think Israel makes a run. He beats Whittaker and he beats Gastelum.
Well, then he's the champ.
And then but that's what I'm saying. But after that, I see him having to pull a George St. Pierre and just out.
I think he has to drop.
I don't see him.
No, I will say this: if he can beat Whittaker, I don't see why he doesn't stay at the weight class. There's no reason to cut the weight. There's nobody scary other than Yoel after that.
And Paulo Costa, is Thiago Santos 185 still, or did he go up?
I think he went up, and even then, you remember the Paulo Costa Yoel thing's about to get determined anyway.
Yeah,
one of them that's going to eliminate. So,
but still, the division's so shallow. He could still. No matter who wins, he definitely end up fighting.
So he could drop down. I think 70 is just a way harder division. I don't think he wants any of Askren. Yeah. I think him versus Till coming up to 85. I think that would be something that would. Ooh. I think that Till thing is a very big possibility.
Let's put that
next
in the
fight.
universe.
Oh, that's gonna happen. Next fight
versus Daly. What do you think? So Douglas Lima in the pre-fight.
Douglas Lima's feeling good right now.
Yeah, in the pre-fight, he said Daly's gonna be arrested,
and everyone made fun of him about that. Yeah. I believed him.
I believe him too.
And I think Daly's plan was perfect. I think if Daly had a better wrestling background, he would have won that fight. A lot of people said they think he won. I like the way he made him chase him at the beginning. Yeah, I think it was a perfect game plan. I just don't think he had the skill set for it.
Yeah, I don't.
I think he could have beaten him. I think it made Venom look a lot more human. Now, the one thing about Douglas is, I think Douglas could implement that same game plan and win. I just don't know if he will. I think Douglas thinks he can outstrike him, which is a fair thing to believe after watching that.
Here's the thing. This is going to be the MVP fight where it's just like, okay, are you
who you
said you are? Or are you...
We're going to find a way.
Because, Douglas Lima, for those of you who are not that don't know, like, MMA,
scary guy.
Douglas Lima is a dog.
And he's only lost in the wrestlers. Like, he doesn't lose to guys who strike. So this
he
is
lost to Rory McDonald.
Who else has beat Daly in Bellator since the Koscheck day? Right? So the Daly
I don't think he's lost.
He lost to somebody else. I think he lost to somebody else in Bellator. So this is a good matchup for MVP in the sense that if you pull off beating Douglas, like, you're as legit as it comes. Yeah, I think he's legit now. I think he's proven he's legit. And it's an interesting fight for Douglas because remember, this is a tournament. Yeah. Right? Like, ironically, the title fight that's coming up is in the next few weeks with Rory McDonald
and John Fitch.
Yeah. So this is kind of weird where, like, he's really gonna get to prove. Like, I think winning this tournament defines him because you end up beating Rory and Douglas Lima or any combination of how this plays out.
Oh, you're super legit.
Yeah, and then at the same time, if you don't win it, nobody can stand and be like, oh my god, because a lot of people still see Rory as a top 3 to 5 welterweight in the world, any division.
You have to.
So I was disappointed in the fight because it didn't give me the excitement I want. I want to see somebody get knocked out. But credit to MVP. He found a way to win. I think if Paul Daly had a better skill set, he would have won that fight. That's the only thing I will say. He made him look human. There's a lot of guys who would have taken him down and he wouldn't have gotten up.
No.
That's the only issue.
If John Fitch had gotten on top of him, that would have
been. That's my only issue is that you had a little too much problem with Paul Daly. Now, Paul Daly is a great athlete, so maybe we're not giving him enough credit for how good his wrestling is. His wrestling's become. Yeah, I don't think so. Now, I will say the shots look good. He turned angles. It looked like he'd been working.
Yeah, but he's doing that on Michael Venom.
Exactly. So this is like kind of like the last fight we just talked about.
Now, one thing we can always say about Paul Daly, listen, his striking, so clean. Left hand, there's a reason they call him Semtex. Yeah, I get it.
So
wrestling is not his thing.
Those are just two fights that I was way more excited about, and I didn't get what I wanted out of it, which was knockout. Yeah, I was very disappointed that I didn't see.
Here's the thing: I was okay with not getting a knockout. I just want to see more of a striking clinic.
There's no amount of money I would not have bet that at least one of those fights. Like I was for sure that both those fights were knockouts. There's no way you would have convinced me that 2 weekends in a row, those two main events wouldn't have ended in knockouts. So that was a very weird thing.
So let's talk about knockouts now. The next fight is Kane and Ngannou. With Kane, I saw Kane looked like the young, inexperienced Kane the way he came out.
Well, the fight was short enough. Let's just
run it.
Let's go run that.
So, like, you open your striking with a kick.
Dude, you know what? He doesn't look bad in the movement.
He doesn't.
I don't like the kicking so much right away.
But he's not setting up his kicks with jabs, punches. Look at that. He's
very weird.
Right, and the way he came in.
Yeah, man.
So this is the fight that he lasted that in, and I saw that inexperience was against Chet Congo.
Well, this is my issue.
Congo dropped him like 10 times.
I think it was a horrible fight back.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should dunk from anybody. I'm not saying like you want to be the champ, fine. I just think there's like there's other top guys. Like, this is my thing.
He hasn't competed in over 1,000 days.
It looked like he hurt his knee, right? He did. People are like arguing about, oh, did he get knocked out? No. He got flash dropped. No doubt about that. And then he hurt his knee.
Yeah.
Right?
So the way, because if you look at the way he drops legs down this way.
Yeah.
Onto his knee.
Which was very ugly looking.
Of course that's going to... to be honest with you, I think he was knocked out and the pain from blowing his knee woke him up.
That's possible too.
I really
My issue is with this. Like, when you have rust...
Even George...
I think the worst thing you can do is fight a guy who's freakishly athletic. Now, like, people are gonna criticize our fighters. Like, I've said this tons of times before. This is a business, and in the next episode, we're gonna be talking about some things that talk about why this is a business and why people are leaving the UFC. You have to do what's right for your career, man. And I just don't think it was a good fight back, because you can be the better fighter, better technical. A guy like Ngannou, that freakish athleticism, that's how you end up hurting your knee. But then, a lot of guys wouldn't. Now, like I said, if you want to be the champ, you have to fight anybody in front of you.
Yeah, but
I just would have preferred.
There's levels. Because if you look at Ngannou, he lost a title fight, comes back, storms to Bladis or whatever.
Yeah.
Now you have a guy who is young in the sport. He's only been training 4 years.
And it's another thing. When he lost to Stipe, people were criticizing him. He lasted 5 rounds with Stipe. Now, he said he didn't train any wrestling. I remember Brendan Schaub was insulting his... I was like, wait, you aren't impressed with the fact that he was able to get up and lasted 5 rounds without training any wrestling? That, to me, is terrifying.
We're talking about the same guy who stopped for Fabricio Verdun.
This is terrifying, in my opinion, for the division. Like, oh, you can get up from a world champion, most defenses, D1 wrestler without training wrestling?
Yeah.
And you look like that, and you're that athletic already? That, to me, is terrifying.
And you gotta remember,
for the rest of the division.
He's 32, but he's not a fighter's 32.
No, not at all.
Because he hasn't been in the sport
not at all
to get all the injuries and
so
all the damage.
I just think it was a bad first fight back, man. Like, I think he was trying to get back to the title too fast.
So who does he fight now?
That's a tough one.
I want him to retire.
Well, this is the thing. I think, and this is gonna suck. I think it's Stipe, bro. This is the thing. He has to make a career choice. If I'm his management, I don't want a top 5 guy. That's me. If I'm his manager, this is me talking as a manager.
Yeah.
I don't want you fighting a top 5 guy. If I'm your coach, I don't want you fighting a top 5 guy. I want somebody known who, the win will be respectable. But I don't want to see him fight Stipe. But I'm hearing that that's the move, because now I'd rather see DC versus Ngannou than DC versus Stipe. And everyone would rather see him fight versus Lesnar, just because the freak show that Lesnar is. Yeah. Stipe's not getting that title shot right away. He has to beat somebody else. Yeah. Flip side is, if you're Stipe, beating up his teammate can bring him out. Because now you saw DC, it felt like kickboxer where it's like, I want part of me wants to make it right. And dude, what better way?
I would not fight Ngannou. I would beat him.
What better way to beat up Kane and then be an asshole about it to bring DC out of the woodwork? Right. What better way?
Right.
So, like I said, I hope we get to see Kane win a fight, but I don't think mentally his pride's gonna let him get in the way. I think he's gonna go. I think it's gonna end up being Stipe, because it's a big fight for both of them, and it's a good way to get DC out of there if you're Stipe.
Yeah, I agree. Man, lot of fights. Hard to even keep up with half this shit.
Yeah, I love that UFC's on ESPN now, because it's like we have something to talk about every week.
100%. George is retiring. You know what I mean? He's just here to say goodbye.
Canadian legend.
You know what I mean? One of my favorite fighters. I've been watching him since his UCC days, when he first fought Ivan Menjivar. Okay, that's how far back that goes. Looked up to this guy. Happy retirement, George. I'm gonna sit with this for a while.
Still wish you fucked me.
That's right. Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in. Comment, like, subscribe, share, call us, message us,
call and message him.
Tell me how much you love me.
I go to sleep early.
Let me know.
He loves all that.
All right. Later, guys.